Welcome to the channel. Today we're doing baby back ribs on a Traeger grill, and it's really easy to do. Stay with us. So what we're going to do is put some rub on this. These are from Costco. The good thing about getting baby backs from Costco is they already take off the membrane. For those of you who are just new to the hobby, it's really easy to do if you don't buy them from Costco, if you just get them from the grocery store. All you want to do is get a little butter knife and pry underneath the membrane. It'll start to pull up. Just get your finger underneath it, and then just kind of work it, and then grab a paper towel and grab the end of the membrane, and it'll pull off in just one piece. So you don't want that on your ribs. The meat, the rub won't stick and won't penetrate the meat, and no one wants to eat that. So get the membrane off. All right, so what we're gonna do is, since I touched the rib with this glove, is we'll use this as our wet hand. And so we're just going to put a little mustard on the ribs as a binder. This is not going to do anything other than help the rub stick to the meat, adhere to the meat. It will not affect the flavor at all. For those of you who don't like mustard, don't worry, that won't come across in the taste. Now that we got a decent amount of mustard as a binder, we're going to use two different kinds of rub today. We got Cosmo's Dirty Bird Hot and Cosmo's Honey Chipotle Killer Bee. These two really work good together, and especially on ribs. So these are kind of our go-to rubs for ribs. So what we want to do is start with the Dirty Bird Hot. That'll be our first layer. We'll put that on pretty liberally. We will make sure we get on the sides as well as we're not missing any spots. The mustard really helps your eye too, so you're not missing any spots. And then we'll come back with the Chipotle Killer Bee as our top layer. And when you layer rubs together, it just helps you build additional flavors and better barbecue. All right, so I'm just going to flip this over and do the same on the other side, and once I get that done, I'll show you what's next. All right, so we got the meat side rubbed up. All we want to do is pat it in just a little bit, and then you just allow this to sweat through for about 15 to 20 minutes. Allow that rub to start penetrating the meat. That'll help with the good little bark and crust that we'll get on the outside, as well as it'll just help penetrate the meat and give us a little bit more flavor in the end product. So we're gonna let this hang out for about 15 minutes. We'll get the Traeger fired up, get up to temp, and we'll get it on the grill. Cheers, everybody. All right, so we have our ribs here. We've let the rub penetrate the meat for about 15 minutes. As you can see, the moisture that's coming out, that's what you want to see. You want to see that rub draw out that moisture. That means the rub is really penetrating the meat. That will help us with the flavor that we're trying to get at the end. We're actually doing 3 racks of ribs today. We're going to do 2 on the Traeger. I'm going to do 1 rack on my brand new pit barrel cooker. I haven't done ribs on that yet, so I wanted to see how those turned out. But we'll get these out on the pit right now. See you in a minute. All right, Traeger's up to temp. I didn't tell you guys earlier, but we're going to cook at about 250. That's what we like to do ribs at. We're going to get this rack centered place where we like it. And we'll get the other rack out here and we'll show you what it looks like after that. All right, we'll get the smaller rack right up next to it. You definitely want to leave a gap so they're not touching. We're gonna do nothing for about the first half hour. In a half hour, we'll take a look and we'll spritz if it needs a little moisture. But after that, we'll probably check it every 30 minutes until it gets to the color that we're wanting. Once it gets to the color that you want to wrap. You don't want it to take any more smoke or get any more dark. You want the color to be exactly where you want to be. All right, we're a half hour in. I have a squirt bottle here with 50/50 apple cider vinegar and apple juice. This is really good spritz for pork. You just want to, every half hour you just want to make sure that it stays wet and doesn't dry out. So we just give it a quick little spritz. As you can see, this is looking great. That rub is coming through nice and strong. It's looking great. All right, we're about an hour in. We're gonna check on them and see what they look like. As you can see, the rub is setting up nice. You want to get to the point where if you touch it, it doesn't come off, so it's not ready yet. So we're just gonna give it a quick spritz. Just want to keep them moist. Give them a quick spritz. You just want to, continue to cook. We're going to be at least another hour before we decide to wrap. Once it gets to the color that we like, we'll wrap in foil. And I'll show you what that step looks like. All right, so we're almost about 3 hours in. I think we're going to check on them, make sure they're the color that we want. We're pretty sure that we're obtained the color that we're looking for. We'll pull them off and we'll wrap and we'll show you what that step looks like. So, as you can see, it's a nice mahogany color that we're looking for. These look beautiful, so we will get these off and we will show you what the wrap process looks like. All right, now that we got the ribs at the color that we want, we're gonna wrap. So what we have here is a bed of brown sugar. The reason we wrap is that will allow the ribs to steam and to get super tender. That's why we wrap. So on this bed of brown sugar, one of the tips to really good barbecue is to use parquet squeeze butter. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but many of the pit masters out there in competitions use parquet squeeze butter. That's where I picked up the trick along the way. So we're going to squeeze out some parquet. We're going to use some honey. And like they say, you got to use honey to collect the money. So we're going to use a little honey across our bed here. And then one last thing that we like to use is a product called Traeger sauce. This is optional, but it brings a little bit of spicy kick that is really good with pork. It's a little spicy barbecue-ish kind of sauce that goes amazing with ribs. So once we have this down, all we're going to do is grab our rack of ribs and we're going to go meat side down. And then we're just going to wrap it up. Wrap it up nice and tight. You want this to steam, but you don't want it to go crazy. So what's going to happen is this rack of ribs is going to steam and make itself tender. That meat is going to pull back from the bone, and we'll start checking on it. We're going to put it back on the pit, and about 45 minutes in, we'll start to check and see what it looks like. All right, so we checked on the ribs. They're good. So we pulled them out of the wrap and we got them on the grill. So we got a nice real pull back. You can see the bone. That's it. When you can tell they're done, you'll do a little bend test. But anyway, the ribs are looking good. So we're going to get ready to sauce. One of the racks, we're going to use Cosmo's Rib Glaze Peach Habanero. This is good stuff. We tried it already. It was good to go. And then on one other rack, we're going to use half and half Blue Hogs red and half and half Blue Hogs blue. So meet us out at the pit. All right, we're ready to sauce. As you can see, we have nice pullback from the bone. You want to see that on your ribs. That's definitely a good indication that you're about done. So we're going to take this rib glaze. We're going to hit our first rack ribs with this. This stuff gives an amazing sheen, and it just kind of looks pretty. But the taste was out of this world too on this. So we got that one going. And then we're going to take our half and half Blues Hog red, half and half Blues Hog blue. The red is a vinegar-based sauce, which gives a little bit of a tang. We'll hit this rack of ribs with that. I just got it in a little cup. But, you know, use your favorite barbecue sauce here. You don't have to use what we like. Really anything will make these over the top good. As you can see, they have a beautiful sheen to them. We're gonna let this set up. About 20 minutes is all it about takes. And then we'll pull them off and we'll let them rest and we'll cut them up. All right, see you inside. All right, these have rested about 15 minutes and we're gonna show you how to slice them up. Easiest way for me is to turn them over so you can see the bones a little bit better. And we'll just start slicing them up. These are super tender, so they're slicing up pretty easy. You just want to go in between the bones. Get some nice individual ribs. All right, I'll show you what these look like. Just turn them over. As you can see, they look pretty darn good. And that's what the finished product looks like. You can see lots of moisture still, and they're perfectly tender. I'm sure they're gonna be dynamite to eat. Let's give a little bit of a taste test. All right. That's dynamite. Perfectly tender. Just a little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat. Those are really, really good. All right, so we'll recap here in a second. All right, just want to recap what we did. We did 3 racks of baby back ribs. We used just some yellow mustard as our binder. And then our 2 rubs, we used Dirty Bird Hot from Cosmos and Honey Chipotle Killer Bee from Cosmos as our layered rubs. We put on the pit for 3 hours. After 3 hours, we wrapped. We used brown sugar, honey, butter, and tiger sauce. Remember, once you wrap, that steams the ribs. We allowed that process to go on for 45 minutes to an hour. Then we took it out of the wrap, and we applied barbecue sauce on one of the racks, and then rib glaze on the other rack. And these are killer. These are really good. So you too can do this. It's easy to do. Don't be intimidated. Get out there and grill.
How's that dinner, Ma?
It was great. Best I ever had.